want to talk about, and because I'm a guitarist, I can talk about about guitars. And I think of course, we have guitar heroes. I'm not a supporter of the opinion that Jimi Hendrix is the best guitarist who ever was, and we shouldn't just even try to uh, make somebody the new guitar hero, because Jimi Hendrix is the best of all. And um, Jimi Hendrix is great, but I don't think this is healthy to think like you shouldn't even try, because just repeat what Jimi Hendrix did this is the best thing you can do. No. And I think if you look for it, you will find many talented guitar players. But I think one point we have in today's age is we are kind of back to the 80s. We have still more people who are talented and not show off, but the thing is, even the talented ones use the show off techniques to market themselves. And sometimes, because everything is linked to TikTok and Instagram and yada yada yada, they make the songs suitable for their platform. And some people will know which band I want to talk about. That's the thing with Polyphia for me. Polyphia is, you can't say it is untalented people. It is highly talented people. And even some songs are really cool, but Polyphia feels more like, for me, it is more like like a capability on the instrument, like a virtuose project. It feels like, what can you do on the instrument, and less than what do you do until you achieve that emotion. Because I'm not sure what is Polyphia trying to achieve emotion wise with their music. I don't know why people go to a concert for Polyphia, because I think it's not a music for a concert, because it is so, yeah, it's so, you kind of just listen to it and you just be kind of overwhelmed how difficult and complex all this stuff is. But also it has like the sound of the new age. Like, it doesn't feel like a band who could be in the 90s. So they are highly original in that sense. But I think, and maybe that's me, but I think they lose something in music that I want to have in music. And the thing I want in music is like a not a purpose for the stuff I play. I don't want to feel like the song is more a showcase of someone's ability than a song, and Polyphia feels more like that. So I can't connect it with them more. I can be I can respect it, and I can say, well, it is crazy, and it is, and some things, and I know I don't want to play like that, but I want to use some elements of that, and I can't, because I'm not that technical efficient on the instrument. But in a way, I don't need it to, because it's not the music I want to make. But I would like to do it in small increments. I just like to, I can use it. If I had the ability to use some of these figures or whatever they play, I could use like some of that, but I can't, because my abilities are not that high in that regard. So, but it kind of works for me. So what I want to talk about because polyphia is like the gateway to the topic. The next topic is what I believe is a great riff. And now I will talk about what we have a problem nowadays. And I believe the riff that you know, the riff with which is singable for everyone, it is not possible in this day and age to write such a riff. I don't know why, but I think these riffs are over. Every riff we have in today and age, if you find it cool, it is either not singable or it is forgettable in a way that if you don't listen to it a couple of weeks, you will not know how to play it, or how not how to play it, but how the notes are, whatever. You will just play on a guitar and you will stumble, and then you find this is so, like, you will not get it on the first try after weeks. I don't think so. I think most modern riffs we have are not singable and also not recognizable. Not recognizable is the wrong, not rememberable. You can't remember them after a time. The only time you can say this is a great riff if when you listen to the song. This is my take on what I think a modern riff is. And so the standard of everybody wants to make Smoke on the Water riffs, a riff that everybody can sing along and instantly recognize the song, and it is so simple. It is not possible in this day and age. It is not possible. Most of these riffs that came out after, even in the 2000s, Muse is a great example. Plug-in Baby, for example, is not a great singable riff. It is not. You can sing it. It is a scale up, but it is not really a cool melody in the way to sing. It is, and personally, I don't like the riff that much, but some people like it, and I would say it is not a singable riff. People like that riff, but it is not singable, and also it's not memorable in the way that you instantly can remember how it was played. You have to learn it or listen to it again, and then you can say it's a great riff. I want to play it like that. Yes, sure, but you can't remember it. And if you listen to, for example, Architects, Gone with the Wind, no, Doomsday was it. Some people say this is a wonderful riff, greatest riff of the whatever this year came out, and everybody copied after that, Architects, and you can go that rabbit hole down by yourself. I don't. We'll talk about this, but it is not singable. It is not memorable. Not unrecognizable. Not recognizable. It is not recognizable. You are instantly, but how you know it is the song is because you listen to the band. It is not because you listen to the first notes and you know exactly it's Doomsday. I don't know why, but it is so not the right take to see modern riffs like this. It is not possible to have the instant the smoke on the water again. We will not have that. If you find a good riff in this today, whatever, it is because you listen to the song before that, you try to learn that song, and you think this riff is cool. Probably it won't stick with you. And a good example of that, and maybe you don't like it, maybe you don't like the band, maybe you don't like riffs, but this is perfect to illustrate my point. There's a video on Loudwire with the guitarist from Code Orange. And I won't say her name because I'm not sure how she is pronounced. So, and she plays the riffs of the new album they release. So, and the problem she has now is she doesn't have any context for her riff. And there are people in the comments who say, "What? This is good nowadays? Is she a good guitarist? Is this not something I play in my bedroom?" And for the first year I played guitar or something. And this is the point. You don't have the context of the whole band, and not any of her riffs are sounding impressive in that without the context of the band, they don't sound impressive. They don't sound recognizable. They don't sound like memorable. They don't say you can make it memorable in context of the song because you see then what she does, or I'm not sure who writes the riff or what in the band. I think it's like a mixed bag, but like just for the argument, she writes the riffs. Nobody, and it doesn't work like Smoke on the Water. She just plays her riffs and people will instantly recognize what song it is. It doesn't work. It works in the context of the band, and it works in the context of this is the band performing. Oh, I knew these two notes. This is a song they have. This is how it works. So, and you can see for yourself, look at the comments and see how many people say she sucks. And as a guitarist, I can tell you she is not bad. So their riffs are pretty hard. So for example, Swallowing the Rabbit Hole is such a nasty riff, such a nasty rhythm. It's so hard to play. And I'm also more impressed by it because maybe it's me, but I think this is more difficult to pull off if you have thick strings and they are like drop B. So I don't know what she uses, but it is a thicker string, obviously. And to make this really fast rhythm in this complex rhythm, it's not easy to play. And and it's also like a really weird chord. It's like a diminished chord, so it's more difficult to play. And the sliding part, oh, nasty and really difficult. Same thing kind of works in, I'm not sure that the band promote themselves like Polyphia, so I don't saw a video where she plays the riffs and it's just the sliding part, because that's the most impressive part in the sense of, oh, looks difficult and hard, and it is difficult and hard, but um but as a guitarist it is that is not easy. That thing is not easy. And but just look at the comments of that video and you will find that some people think she's not a good guitarist. And this is the point. I say that's the point. We don't have that, and we don't should have the same standard or even think that somebody writes a riff like Smoke on the Water in the same way. No modern riffs today that are written today will have that impact or whatever. It's not possible. If you find a riff, it's because you listened to the song before. You know the context of the band, you know who performs it and whatever. It's always today in age, it's context what makes a riff good. It's not the riff itself on played by itself. No, and every I think probably every modern metal guitarist will cry if you just turn down the whole backing track without anything and just play the riff, because they will think, yeah, that's not really cool. So so what I think what makes a riff good, maybe my opinion is not the opinion that everybody has in this day and age, but I think I'm pretty normal in that way. I would say a good riff is something you can come back to. And so there is like really, and I think that has something to do with blues or whatever, but I think a riff is meant to be something that can be repeated. And because there's some one-off riffs. I'm looking at you, Tesseract. They have pretty good riffs, but sometimes they don't come back to these riffs, and that's so annoying for me. So I don't like that. I like to have a good riff and I want to hear it again. So that is for me like one thing a riff has to do. The next thing I think a good riff has, in a way, and now we come back to this, because the thing is, I was thinking about this topic and I was thinking about good modern riffs or what riffs people like. And for example, if you listen to The Strokes, Reptilia, this is the riff that some people say this is a really good riff. My point is it more a melody than a riff? I think a riff, or like an original riff, is more based on rhythm than in melody. So it kind of follows or shows the chord progression behind it. And I think Reptilia is more a melody than the chord progression is shown, because it is exactly that. There's like one chord played in the back or two. I didn't listen to this, so I'm not sure how many chords it was, but it's more melody. But people sing along to that riff, yeah, but it is more melody. For example, if you listen to Arctic Monkeys, which how is it called? Are You Mine? Is the do I want to know? Do I want to know? This is a really, really, really good riff. Probably overplayed, but a really good riff. It is such a arena rock riff, though. So some people like that, maybe some people don't, but it is a really good riff. Is it more melody than a riff? I think it kind of is in the middle of it. And that makes for me a really more true to what a riff is for me. But maybe you have a different take, but I think this is something people can have different opinions on. But I think there's a difference between a melody, which is played on a guitar or an instrument, and a riff. And most of the time, the riff is built into the rhythm structure of the song, of the rhythm, of the harmonical chord structure of the song. So that is why I think Reptilia is not a riff for me. You can say it is a riff, but I think it's more a melody. But some people will say it is a riff. I don't think so. But some people will say it's a riff. So, for example, because we talked about them, Muse, Supermassive Black Hole, is a good riff. It is rock to the bone, which is kind of weird because Muse was like so modern, such a modern band in the way how they presented themselves and what they use and stuff. But they really had so many classic rock vibes in their music. It's kind of weird sometimes to listen to Muse because of that. It's not bad if you like it, but like it's not something I would think I would get when I listen to Muse. Like that's the point I want to make. I want to say just that. And they have like a classic rock vibe, and Supermassive Black Hole is a great riff, I think. And this is pretty personal, obviously. Everybody can say what is a good or a bad riff, but Supermassive Black Hole is, I think, a good riff. Is it something singable? There's the point again. I think not. It is not something that is really fun to sing, but it's a really fun riff to play. And it's also a really cool riff when the band plays it like with all instruments, like in the context of the band. So um I don't want to make it like what are my favorite riffs, because I can make that, but I would make that more separate. Not the point is, like, I showed you that even the riffs that you say are pretty good, just be honest to that. If you think these riff would sound impressive, or if you would still like the riff if you never heard it in the context of the band, if you just heard it on a recording or something. And I think most modern riffs doesn't can survive that process. And riffs I wrote, there are some of them which are highly unimpressive if you don't have the context behind it. And there are riffs that are I have like two riffs, I would say. Two riffs which kind of go to the same as Smoke on the Water. You can instantly sing it, and yeah, it is kind of easy to follow. But and what people forget, this is so long. Like, if you listen to your favorite band from the 2000s and listen to what riffs you liked, most of these riffs were not something that is either singable or either memorable in the way you know exactly which note is sounding, like how it sounds, which note exactly sounds. You just like the riff. So it's not something that is like tailored to the new age, to this modern time. It is something that was long in the making. Like a long time we had that. You just have to be fair to what the modern music can bring you. And I think the beauty we have nowadays, probably we don't have like the innovations, we don't have the original band that not the original, the really innovative band that makes something that never everybody heard before, and they don't sound like any other band that came before them. I don't think many successful bands today have that. You can always say they sound like this band and stuff, and why it is a problem. Why it is a problem. For example, Deftones. Deftones is so influential for modern bands. It's ridiculous. But there are so many bands who want to sound like Deftones, and it's always like the thing. I did the same, but Deftones is in a way really varied in their sound. So you don't they want to take some things and also think some of it. So they always like have like this shoegaze thing from Deftones, but the way how they make the songs, and if they say it's a Deftones style, it is. I think it is more a modernized version of this style, because, well, more not. So if you listen to like Saturday Night Wrist, this is kind of what many people take these shoegaze element from Deftones the most, and also Be Quiet and Drive, which is a fantastic song. Yeah, I would say that it's a fantastic riff, fantastic song. It gets the glory it deserves. It's a fantastic song. But they take the Saturday Night Wrist songs, or maybe some Diamond Eyes. That has also some elements to it, but they make it different, and that's not the problem. The problem is that people still say this is exactly like Deftones, and that's something that rubs me the wrong way, because if you listen to it, it is different. It is not exactly how Deftones had made it. And if you listen to the new songs, this is kind of weird, because if you listen, for example, to Metal Dream, it kind of feels like this is the song they put on the album or made, or maybe, I don't know, I won't say they don't want to make this song, but the thing is, this is the most fan-oriented song in the album, because it feels exactly what people would think Deftones are like. And if you listened back to Saturday Night Wrist, they sound different. It is kind of different, and they kind of sound, it is not the same. And you can maybe say it's the years, but I think it's more like now they have like something they never had. Like, they don't want to have that one aspect of them, but now they have like a big appeal of fans for that, and they kind of have to make like some people of that, they expect that, and they maybe like it also. But I don't know. I think Bethels is long um, so long in the business that they know that they kind of have to make like a song of that thing, if they have so many young fans of that style. But it feels more like something people just remembered wrong, because it is not exactly that. It is not exactly that. What all people say, if they say this sounds exactly like Deftones, it doesn't sound like the Deftones songs you listen to. So if you listen to Saturday Night Wrist, if you listen to Be Quiet and Drive, the other doesn't have that shoegaze element, I think. Time and Ice also. Um, it is not exactly how people do it in today. It is different. And I hate it when people say it's just like the Deftones. You can be inspired, and they are a band who inspire a lot of people, but everybody has a different take on it. And because it is different, there's so many years between it. It will sound a little bit different than what they did. Um, So I just think it's just unfair to say this is just exactly like Deftones, because most of the time it is reminiscent, but it isn't exactly like. So, but I think many people just make that from memory, and memory is faulty. And so you kind of connect things with which never happened, or never were exactly like like you thought they were. So, um, so for example, um, I have like some association with different tunings, and I think this has. So, for example, I am. So what I do sometimes is I just play something, read something, watch something, and I get inspired, and I want to write something to that. And I was playing, um, yeah, because it's probably something that would never be released, but maybe, I don't know. It's not bad, but it's not finished either. So I was playing a game I played in my childhood, which was Spider-Man on the PS1. PS1. I played it on the PS2, but yeah. So it was even difficult because I couldn't. I don't know why, but I couldn't save when I played a PS1 game. I don't know why, but maybe I was just dumb. But I don't know. This was like the case, so I had to play it in one sitting. And there's like a different characters, but there's a big portion of the game is the fight with Venom, and like the whole deal with getting to him. So you have a lot of time, and I just was thinking, well, I want to make some music to that. So I made like because I listened to also to the sound of that, um, and to the soundtrack of it, and yeah, and so I was like confident I want to make it with guitar. So because the original has also guitar, so I thought like, yeah, this is not so out there to make a metal version of it because it is also on the soundtracks that way. So, and I made a riff. The point is, I made it in a key, and it was not tailored to because my guitar wasn't tuned to that key. It was different because I played it on a 7 string, and I tuned my 7 string to drop A. I believe it was. Maybe it was drop A flat, but I think it was drop A. So, and I played it in C minor, the riff. So, what is the key of the song when you fight Venom? It is C. And it's also, I don't know what guitar it was used, like a 7 string, a baritone, or I don't know. It doesn't sound that great because I don't know, because of like um, corp to the game, they get like some quality lost, and I don't know, some games had that, many had that problem back in the day. So you don't know how really the guitar sound. I thought I found one track, and the sound and the guitar sounded okay, not jaw-breaking, but okay. So it's just probably just the 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 file from the game. It sounds like that. So, but it is in C minor. Why? Why did I thought this is the right key for that fight? Why? It's just because my memory connected to that, probably because I was listening to that song and just unconsciously I said, well, this fits perfectly. Because the first time I encountered this fight, this even that character was with that. But there's more. I played because I'm not a big anymore, but I don't know. I check out every game, but I don't know. I didn't play the newest one, but I would say I'm a Spider-Man fan. I don't read the comics, but I'm always interested into what game comes up and what game came, and so so I played some of them, and also watched some of them because you can't get them so easily. um, and I was playing Spider-Man on the Game Boy Advanced, which was Spider-Man Ultimate Spider-Man on the Game Boy Advanced, and there is a level which I also like the soundtrack of, or I kind of remember that, like it's like so niche. It's like not a melody. It's like chord progression, but I kind of remembered that track. So, which key is that track in? Obviously, it's also in C minor. So, two different people have the same conclusion that Venom is perfectly fit for C minor. I don't know why, but I think this is so interesting how something gets connected, because maybe that person saw the Spider-Man. I think that came after that. So maybe they saw Spider-Man 1 and played the game and got in their mind unconsciously. Maybe not. Maybe it was a different game because they were older. I kind of checked. I guess this person was a little bit older. It was not like a young person. It was a more older composer. But um, this is so interesting for me. How people can connect things so deep, but are not aware of it. And I have also one example, which is not a key, but it is, it would be really bad. I wrote a riff, or not, yeah, riff. I would say it's a song, whatever, because every time it is not on my guitar, I would more call it electronic music. But maybe, I don't know if electronic music is like called, and they say riffs, they make riffs. I don't know. I think this is a term which is kind of reserved for rock music, but maybe it's also in electronic music. I don't know. In electronic music, I just hear it's beats, and I made a beat. And what I realized after many years, many years, is that this was the rhythm from a track which from a game I played as a child, which was Need for Speed Most Wanted. And there was a track on that soundtrack which had exactly that rhythm. It was just a rhythm, but because the rhythm was the most um, thing you have to come up with, because the notes are pretty you will come up with these notes, but the rhythm is something that is special. And I did exactly that. So good that I didn't release it, but yeah. So I think just be more open. Just what can music give you, and don't have the same, not standard. Just see it. It is different nowadays. You can't expect the same impact that it has to people years before. It is different, and you will find many great things about it. But if you just want to find new innovative artists that you also like to listen to, maybe you will be out of luck, because everybody who is innovative, they don't get listened because it's so weird. But people like that they're innovative, and for me, this is not enough. If it's innovative but I don't like to listen, I think it is kind of missing the point. So that was my topic of that. Maybe I will do it in 2 sections. See, now because of the time, but we will see. Bye.